Hello again, everyone. I'm Todd Miller. March is National Athletic Training Month across the United States. Today, in honor of that month, we have five of the most important members in the Oklahoma Baptist University Athletic Department joining us. That are the training staff: Dillon Gibson, Laurin Ackerson, Lynsie Watkins, Walter Wright, and head athletic trainer Ben Cleveland. Guys, I know you're very, very busy this time of year. Thanks so much for taking time to join us.
Well, Todd, thanks for having us on.
You bet. Okay, we're going to do a lot of rapid fire stuff, some quick answers, but I want to go across the board and find out how you got where you're at. What led you to make the career path decision to be in athletic training?
Well, I'll start and just say that, for me, it was just as basic as I knew I wanted to be in athletics in some capacity. I grew up watching sports, playing sports. So I knew I wanted to work in athletics in some way. Didn't really know what that was going to be like as I went through high school and into my first year of college. But kind of my first year of college at the University of Alabama, I got involved in the athletic training education program. And as an observer, just fell in love with the fact that I was able to kind of be a part of a team, but also be a part of like making the team a little bit better and being a part of that process. So I just really fell in love with it. And from that standpoint, from that kind of point on, I kind of just, I've been doing this now for, I've been certified for 14, almost 15 years, which sounds crazy to say out loud. But yeah, just for me, it became with a love of athletics.
Laurin, how about you?
Yeah, for me, it's the same. I was involved in athletics in high school, and there were a few years where I was out with some injuries. And so I worked with my athletic trainer at my high school. And he just made a huge impact he got up and was working with me at 5 a.m. to get ready for the season. So I just wanted to be able to make an impact on student athletes that some people might not realize you can make an impact that way.
How about you, Walter?
For me, it's a little different. I didn't even know what an athletic trainer was or what they did until my second year of college. I played sports through high school, had a few injuries, kind of was on my own, and got to college, wanted to do PT, but then, didn't want to be just in a clinic setting. So that's when I found athletic training, looked into it, knew that was what I wanted to do. Always wanted to help people. So that's really how I came to be an athletic trainer.
Lynsie, how'd you end up in your current career path?
Like Ben said, I always knew I wanted to be involved in athletics in some sort of capacity, but didn't really know what that was. In the 7th grade, I ended up having to have back surgery. And our head football coach kind of took me under his wing and led me towards athletic training and sent me to some camps and kind of helped me get started in that. And I never looked back since. I knew from that moment this is what I wanted to do.
How about you, Dillon?
So my answer is kind of the same. I went to the Oklahoma State University in Stillwater, and I don't think they quite appreciated my athletic talent enough. And so I knew I couldn't continue on the field, but I wanted to still be really close in that setting and work with student athletes. And I always kind of found an interest in those science classes in high school. And so that was a great way to continue that education, but also still stick with the athletic setting.
All right, Walter, I'm going to start this next question with you. What's the biggest challenges that you guys face? Let's just assume a normal year. This year is certainly anything but normal in your day-to-day job.
I would probably say, scheduling. At some points in the year, it gets kind of hectic around here with, a ton of sports going on at once. In a normal year, that's kind of a challenge for us, but in a COVID year, it's even more challenging.
Your thoughts, Laurin?
I think the same, just trying to figure out how to cover everything, get everything covered. But then we're also trying to do our rehab, treatment, injury evaluation throughout the day, and just trying to balance all that with kind of the computer stuff we have to do, the administration side of things too, that we have to balance. And then also trying to balance some like the work life, that you're trying to have a normal life outside of that too. So that's kind of the challenge every year, even without some of this COVID stuff.
Lynsie, your challenges, and I think so many people think about athletic trainers as guys and gals that wrap ankles. There's so much more to your job than that.
Absolutely. Like Laurin said, rehabs, injury evaluation, even the computer side of it, inputting notes and making sure our documentation is correct. The amount of athletes we see in a day, we're constantly behind on the documentation and trying to get everything in the computer and keep everything up to date. It's just trying to balance everything all at once, not only with our athletes, but with our family lives as well.
Dillon?
They all said it well. I'll just add, just trying to stay motivated, trying to stay encouraged through the busyness of our schedules. Just looking for that internal motivation to kind of stick with it.
Ben, you are heading up a staff that has a lot of sports. You have 5 trainers, as we've talked about, but this year's been extra challenging for you in terms of your day-to-day job. You don't have an off season. You're always in season with a different sport. But this year, all sports are in season, it seems like, at the same time.
Yeah. And, to kind of backtrack on what they've already said is it's really true. The biggest challenge we have really on any year is really a coverage standpoint. I mean, and trying to balance coverage with, optimizing the care that we give. Like that's a kind of a balance we try to do well. But when you have athletic population group of about over 550 athletes and there's 5 of us, that ratio gets pretty crazy. So the one thing, even though that's a challenge, one thing I will say about our staff as we are is like we have been fantastic at helping each other in any ways we can. So there may be some times where as the ebbs and the flows of the different season goes, certain sports are busier, other sports aren't as busy. So we can kind of shift our help to where it's most needed in those specific times. So, and our group does a great job of, just being selfless and helping each other and as best we can.
All right, I want to ask the 4 other trainers, and we'll start with you, Dillon. What has the COVID pandemic meant to you in your day-to-day job about how you approach dealing with athlete injuries?
That's a great question, Todd. It kind of caused me to just take a step back and just kind of reevaluate everything from a personal standpoint, from a professional standpoint about how we do things, how we approach things, figuring out how to make things more efficient and still provide the same care, but also staying with our policies. And so it's just been a good time for a reflection for me.
Lynsie, following up on what Dillon just said, have there been a lot of good things in the world of athletic training and in your department specifically that will and have come out of this pandemic?
I think so. We've been able to implement some things that we wanted to in the athletic training room, like scheduling for the athletes to come in during certain times of the day. So we have time to better care for them and plan out what they need to do instead of just seeing them walk through the door and just catching you off guard and having to come up with something on the fly. We're better able to plan out rehabs and everything that way.
Laurin, how has your day-to-day job changed in the face of a pandemic?
I think one challenge with COVID stuff that people outside of here wouldn't really realize is that we try to build relationships with student athletes. That's kind of been hard this year. So, I mean, we have relationships with the seniors and the juniors, but the freshmen and transfers who are new, we usually have time to kind of sit down and get to know them, and they come and hang out in the athletic training room or whatever. This year, that's not really a thing because we kind of have to keep the distance and not hang out with people for so long. So we've had to kind of find different ways to build relationships, whether it be in the minimal time we have doing treatment or whatnot. But that's kind of been a big challenge for me, is just building relationships. We have to build relationships in the same way, but we have to change how we do it.
Is it fair to say, Walter, that in some sense this pandemic has maybe made you all better trainers in the terms of efficiently managing your time and the way you deal in different aspects with student athletes?
Absolutely. I think, throughout the entire summer, we kind of got a chance to reflect on how we can be better as a staff. We got a ton of time off last semester. We were doing weekly Zoom meetings, just trying to figure out how we could be better and how we could better serve our athletes. So I think, the pandemic, as much bad as it definitely brought some good to our staff.
We are visiting with Ben Cleveland, Dillon Gibson, Laurin Ackerson, Lynsie Watkins, and Walter Wright, 5 rock stars of Oklahoma Baptist University athletics. They're the ones that keep the athletes on the floor and on the fields of competition. Okay, guys, and gals, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to have quick answers here. Give me your best answer. We will start with you, Laurin. If you needed medical attention among the other 4 people in your staff, who would you go to first?
Honestly, probably Ben, and I think we'd all say the same thing, just because he's been around longer than any of us, so he has a lot more experience. But probably Ben. I'm sure.
Okay, Walter, if you can't go to Ben, who would it be?
Oh, I'd probably say Lynsie. I think she does a great job with her athletes. I feel like I would go to her. I would stay away from Dillon, 100%.
What was that?
Dillon, how about you? If you needed medical attention immediately on the job, who would you turn to on the staff first?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably Ben. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Walter might try and kill me.
How about you, Lynsie?
Well, if it was immediately, I'd have to go with Dillon because he's in the same building as me.
That's great.
I guess I'll
Ben,
take that.
do you really have, at the end of the day, any faith in those other 4 people if you needed emergency help?
Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. No, I think all of us feel 100% comfortable if any one of us had to care for the other ones. Like, I think all of us feel 100% that we would take care of each other in any way we could.
Okay, if we'll start with you here, Ben. It's something you've always wanted to try, but maybe are afraid to do.
Like in general?
In general.
Man, like, I don't know, skydiving. That would be, I have a
Just jump.
I have a respect of heights, I guess. I don't know if it's necessarily a fear, but like that would probably quench that fear or maybe make it worse. I have no idea, but I've always toyed with that thought.
How about you, Lynsie?
Ben took the answer right out of my mouth. Skydiving, absolutely.
Dillon, there's probably nothing you're afraid of, right?
No, there are things I want to try, but just haven't had the time or money to do. Like I would willingly jump out of a plane, no problem. Parachute or not.
How about you, Walter?
Skydiving was my answer, but when I found out that I'm kind of too big to do the tandem skydiving, that kind of was, I'm not doing that. So I would say, I don't know,
I'll
ride
jump
a
with you.
bull. Sure, let's try that.
That'd be great. Hey, will you sell tickets? That'd be a great fundraiser
Yeah.
for OBU
Oh, yeah.
Athletics.
I'll get
How
you guys
about you,
front
Laurin?
row.
I think the same thing. Skydiving was my first answer. Got to go with everyone else. I don't know if I could do it. Jump
This
out.
summer we'll do it.
All right.
Sounds
if
like
you
a great
guys-
group
Maybe
activity.
we can all go
Todd, you're
together.
paying for it.
Hey, I'll make it happen. Let's go. You guys more than deserve it. If you could sing a duet with any artist of any genre, who would that be?
Man, you don't want me singing, period.
That's true.
Okay, if you could, Lynsie, who would that be?
One of the greats of country music.
Jason Aldean.
George Strait?
No, absolutely not. George Strait or Reba McEntire.
There you go. How about you, Dillon?
Golly, that's a good question. I can't sing, first of all, so I probably wouldn't do it. But I appreciate the voice of maybe like a Casting Crowns, maybe one of those guys.
Ben, who would you sing with?
Man, so many choices. I don't know why this person stuck out to my mind immediately, but like I think like not necessarily singing a duet, but like performing with Freddie Mercury.
That'd be cool.
He's the greatest performer of all time, I think. So like
I was just
he
calling
has a very
out
distinct voice. Too, so I'd probably say that.
I like that. How about you, Walter?
If he's outside of Texas. Insurance coverage.
I don't know. I'll go off the wall and say somebody like Lil Wayne.
There you go.
I could
Change
I
it
could
up.
see you with Lil Wayne.
Yeah, change it up.
Laurin, who would you sing with?
I feel like singing with Beyonce would be pretty cool. She'd make you feel like pretty powerful, pretty fierce, you know.
Okay.
That would save me.
All All right, Lynsie, we're going to start with you. What's the last thing that you cooked?
Oh man, I haven't cooked in forever besides just throwing something in the microwave. Probably a pork chop and a baked potato.
Ben, how about you? I bet you're a chef.
Oh man, I wish I were a chef. I don't have the time to be a chef. My
That's
wife,
the main
my
problem.
wife's a fantastic cook. But they were actually out of town, I think, last week. So I had to figure something out for myself. So I grilled some chicken. So that was the last thing that I cooked, with some grilled chicken. Real exciting.
Dillon, what's the last thing you cooked?
Ooh, I like
Or
to
have
smoke.
you ever cooked?
Yes, I smoke everything. I like to smoke, so any kind of smoked meat. I smoke it all.
Very nice. Walter, I bet you're a chef. You don't have time, but in another life, you would be a chef.
I mean, if you consider putting stuff in a crock pot a chef, then I'm your guy. That's my go-to is some crock pot chicken.
Good stuff. How about you, Laurin?
I made a lasagna a couple nights ago. That's
She's the real cook.
I don't
baker.
cook. Everyone knows
Disclaimer,
I don't
Laurin
cook.
is like the baker of our staff. She like does all the baked goods, like fantastic.
I will go to bat for her and say she's the best baker on campus.
He might
Laurin
not know
keeps us
anything
all
else
fat.
good about me, but that's all he'll say.
All good staffs need a baker. That's the key to success. What is the one thing that you have in your refrigerator at all times? Or do you have anything because you're hardly home? Go ahead, Laurin.
Because I bake, I always have butter, sticks of butter, always have it in my fridge so that you can bake anything whenever you need it.
What do you have, Walter?
I would probably say string cheese and peach fruit cups. Those are my go-to snacks
Okay.
when I need something.
String cheese is good. The peach fruit cups, I don't know so much. How about you, Lynsie?
I actually always have a gallon of milk and a gallon of unsweet tea.
Very good. Dillon?
It's not in the fridge, but a jar of Nutella by my bedside. I always got to have that.
There you go. What do you have, Ben?
Oh, well, problem at our house is like keeping the fridge stocked because we have two kids, 4 and 2, that just ravage our fridge, our pantry at all times, all the time. So on any given day, who knows what's left in there whenever I get home. But usually we have, milk, string cheese, fruit, sandwich meat, mainly things for the kids to eat. I always have to kind of find my way or kind of find something, whatever's left over is usually what I get to eat. So,
All right, we got 2 more of these to do. We'll start with you, Ben. What is your favorite movie?
favorite movie, man, I'm a comedy guy. So one of my all-time, it's not maybe not the all-time favorite, but one of my all-time favorite movies is Dumb and Dumber. Right? It's just like, it's classic. Every time it's on, I'll just like, I can't help but like watch it. But like, it's just, I just laugh every single time I see it.
Good movie. Dumb and Dumber is a lot like my life. So, Dillon, how about you? What's your favorite movie?
Oh, I was muted. Sorry.
My fault.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ben. Anything comedy with Will Ferrell, Step Brothers, Talladega Nights, any of that.
Classic.
How about Anchorman? You like Anchorman?
Oh, yes. Steve Carell. Yep.
There you go. How about you, Lynsie?
Man, I don't watch much TV at all. I hardly ever even turn it on. If I do, I turn it on to watch football or something. But on the bus, if they'll put on a good sports movie, that'll keep my attention.
Okay, I know this is a silly question, Laurin, because you've got a lot going on in your life besides your job, but let's pretend like you have a normal 8 to 5 job and you get to watch movies. What's your favorite one?
It's really random and it's a Broadway show too, but it's Annie. Annie is like, I don't know why 10-year-old Laurin loved it and she still does. I could watch it all the time.
Very nice. Walter?
Oh man, that's a hard question. Some movies that come to mind: Dumb and Dumber, classic. I really like, some of the more serious ones, like The Green Mile is a great movie.
It's a great movie.
I also really like Armageddon for some reason, and Titanic. I don't know why. I love it.
I like Titanic too. All right, last question. The one thing in your life that you could not do without, Laurin?
I feel like it's kind of cheesy, but my husband, he kind of holds me together. I don't feel like I don't see him much with work, but kind of helps me get outside of work a little bit.
Lynsie, what could you absolutely not do without in your life?
I feel like this is going to be the answer because of where we work, but faith in God and just believing. Without that, I don't think any of us can make it.
Dillon?
Well, those are all great answers. I should say my wife. I should say my daughter. I'll probably say my dog, honestly. Sadie.
Coffee.
Those are
First
good
one.
answers. Walter?
I would have to say my dog, and I'm kind of a big nerd, so I would say video games too. Keep me sane.
Ben?
Yeah, I mean, the obvious answer for me and for all, I think all of us can agree with what Lynn said, just our general faith and just our hope and Jesus has been a huge part of not just the COVID year, but just our eternal hope, but also like specifically, I mean, my wife is an unbelievable supporter of like, not just, you know, what I do, but like in my career, but like, I mean, she holds down the fort at home and does an absolutely outstanding job, an amazing job. And I couldn't be doing this without, you know, her support and her taking care of all the things that she does. So definitely my wife.
Walter, Lynsie, Laurin, Dillon, Ben, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you guys are really, really busy. We just want to say thank you for all you do for Oklahoma Baptist University Athletics. It's behind the scenes. Sometimes people don't know what goes on and how much you're appreciated. And during this special month, we want to say thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Yes, thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.